Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Kroy Biermann about to lose prized car during divorce battle. Kroy Biermann has spoken about the financial struggles he and former Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kim Zolciak have been dealing with. Kroy is now facing the loss of his prized car. BMW has asked a judge to allow them to repossess Kroy's Rolls-Royce. Here is a look at Kroy's danger of losing his car and his current financial problems. Kroy Biermann has been fighting to get permission to sell his and Kim Zolciak's home. The couple faced losing the home to foreclosure if they didn't sell it and get the money to pay it and other bills off. That includes the overdue bill for Kroy's Rolls-Royce. However, it might be too late now. BMW has asked a judge to allow it to repossess Kroy's Rolls-Royce. According to TMZ, Kroy hadn't made a payment since September 2022. According to the documents presented to the judge, Kroy was supposed to pay $5,297.64 a month from July 2020 until July 2023. This totaled $190,715.04 for the Rolls-Royce. However, if he hasn't made a payment since September 2022, that means he owes $52,976.40 in missed payments, with the last payment due in July 2023, plus late penalties. This was also a lease on the $400,100 luxury SUV. Since the lease ended in July 2023, it is confusing why Kroy still has the car. BMW reached out to Kroy to work out a payment plan for the car, but he never responded and stopped taking their calls. BMW filed their initial lawsuit in June 2023, and he still has the vehicle. Kroy Biermann said he was trying to get Kim Zolciak to sign off on selling their mansion. If the mansion went into foreclosure, they would lose everything. The two finally made a request to a judge to help them get their financial situation under control. They asked him to pause the foreclosure so they could sell the home. The mansion was scheduled for an auction on November 7. However, Kroy and Kim said if it is auctioned off, they will suffer irreparable injury to the marital estate, depleting it in its entirety. They have listed the mansion for $6 million, which would pay it off and give them money to pay off other bills, and help give them money to split in their divorce. Kim and Kroy paid $3.2 million for the home. However, there might be one problem with selling the house. If the house does go to auction, someone could pay much less than $6 million if they waited for the foreclosure. Kroy Biermann sat in the driver's seat of his beloved car, his hands gripping the steering wheel with a tension that mirrored the turmoil inside him. The once proud NFL linebacker had faced challenges before, both on the field and in his personal life, but this felt different. This battle was not about yardage or fame, it was about loss. And the divorce from Kim Zolciak, the woman he had built a life with, was now threatening to strip him of something he held dear, his prized car. The sleek black SUV gleamed under the soft light of the garage, a symbol of success, of memories, of countless family trips and personal triumphs. It wasn't just a car to Kroy. It was an extension of his identity. A testament to the years of hard work that had led him from the football fields of Montana to the glamorous world of reality TV. It represented stability in a life that had begun to feel anything but. Kim had made it clear in recent weeks she wanted the car. In the increasingly bitter divorce proceedings, the car had become a pawn, a symbol of control and dominance in a marriage that had publicly unraveled. To the world, their relationship had once appeared unbreakable, a real-life fairy tale played out on television. But behind the scenes, cracks had formed long ago, and now those cracks had turned into gaping chasms. The lawyers, the court dates, the endless accusations, It was all becoming too much. But this car was something Kroy couldn't let go of so easily. He remembered the day he bought it, the rush of pride that surged through him as he drove it off the lot. It was more than just a status symbol. It was a reminder of everything he had achieved. After the chaos of games, fame, and family, it was the one place he could be alone with his thoughts. Yet Kim, with her sharp tongue and even sharper lawyers, was determined to get her way. Kroy had seen her transformation over the years, from the brash, larger-than-life personality on The Real Housewives of Atlanta to a woman who now seemed laser-focused on tearing down everything they had built together. He could still hear her voice echoing through the house, insisting that she deserved the car, that she had earned it through their years together. The arguments were no longer about the kids or their once-shared dreams. They had devolved into who could take the most. He let out a deep sigh, his fingers tracing the smooth leather of the steering wheel. The divorce had already taken so much: his home life, his sense of peace, the woman he thought he would grow old with. But this car felt like the last vestige of his former life, the life where they were partners, not enemies. For Kim, it was likely just another possession, a flashy vehicle that matched her persona, but for Kroy, it was a reminder of the man he was before everything went wrong. It represented freedom, a small piece of himself that hadn't yet been claimed by the lawyers, the paperwork, or the public spectacle of their breakup. The kids were another complication. Kroy adored his children, and the thought of them being caught in the middle of this divorce war hurt him more than anything. He knew they loved the car too. How they would clamber into the back seats on their way to soccer practice or a family trip, their laughter filling the cabin as he drove. But now, even those moments felt tainted, overshadowed by the impending battle over who would get to keep this piece of their life. His phone buzzed, pulling him from his thoughts. Another message from his attorney. He hesitated before looking at it, already knowing what it would say. The court date was looming, and the lawyers were still going back and forth over the car, among other things. But this wasn't just about a material possession. It was about the principle, about holding on to something that was his. Kroy stepped out of the car and closed the door behind him, the weight of the moment pressing down on him. He stood there for a while, looking at the car, feeling a mix of anger and sadness wash over him. How had it come to this? He never imagined that his marriage to Kim would end in such a cold, transactional way, with their lives being divided up like pieces of a puzzle. But here they were, fighting over cars and houses, over memories and futures that no longer included each other. A part of him wanted to give in, to let her have the car and be done with it. He had always been a man of action, someone who preferred to solve problems on his own terms rather than get bogged down in legal battles. But another part of him, the part that had fought for every inch on the football field, refused to let go. He had already lost so much. Why should he give up the one thing that still felt like his? The media had been relentless, of course. Every move in their divorce was plastered across tabloids and gossip websites, each headline more sensational than the last. Bitter custody battles, assets under fire, Kroy and Kim's explosive divorce. It was all so exhausting. And now this latest chapter in their saga threatened to make headlines once again. Kroy Biermann to lose prized car in divorce showdown. He could already picture the flashing cameras, the reporters clamoring for a soundbite as he walked out of the courthouse. He hated the thought of it, of his personal pain being turned into entertainment for others. But that was the world they had lived in for so long, the world that had brought them together, and in many ways, torn them apart. Kroy turned away from the car and walked back into the house. He knew the battle wasn't over, not by a long shot. The divorce proceedings would drag on, the lawyers would continue to argue, and the headlines would keep coming. But no matter what happened, he wasn't ready to let go just yet. The car, like so many things in his life, had been hard-won, and he wasn't going to let it slip away without a fight. As he closed the door behind him, Kroy took a deep breath. The days ahead would be difficult, but he had faced difficult times before. This was just another challenge, another obstacle to overcome. And as much as Kim might want to take everything from him, there were still some things she couldn't touch: his resolve, his pride, and the man he was determined to become again.